All righty. What is up, folks? Big update today. Big update. Got my buddy Chosen here with me. We're probably going to be joined by the franchise in a little while whenever he decides to show up. He's got some stuff that he's doing, but we finally got an update on the ZeRo stuff. So I am looking very much forward to it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be really interesting. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. I know. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Let me just fix a couple things here. Am I coming in clear? Am I all right? Can people hear me okay? Can you hear me okay, Chosen?
Oh, yeah. I hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I hear you perfectly. Okay, just want to make sure audio is good. Dev, thank you for the 10. Appreciate you put the popcorn on there. Yes, this should be entertaining stuff because I'm not only going to go over the fact that a settlement has been reached, I'm going to go over some of the filings that I never went over prior to that are shorter they're smaller filings. And that's some of the declarations that were made on behalf of Jisu by people like Leffen and, a couple others that I hadn't mentioned before. I might have mentioned them in passing, but I'm not sure if I ever actually went over their filings. So if I did, sorry if I'm treading old ground, but I think it's something that's pertinent to mention. Because these were people that were complicit in Jisu's lies. And I think that's something that needs to be pointed out. So as you all know, ZeRo, if you didn't know, ZeRo did post a video earlier today saying that a settlement had been reached between him and Jisu, effectively, putting this case to rest for now, at least the one against Jisu. So we'll go over that video. What I'll go over first, though, before we get into the video, is the actual document, which I have right here, and that is the notice of settlement, which is a short document. We'll get through it really quick, and then we'll get into the video. So here it is. This is the notice of settlement, as you can see here. This is a ZeRo's lawyer up here at the top. Notice of settlement for the entire case, and we see it is conditional. It says to all the parties and any arbiter of other court-connected ADR neutral involved in this case. It says it's a conditional settlement. So it says the settlement agreement conditions dismissal of this matter on the satisfactory completion of specified terms that are not performed within 45 days of the date of the settlement. A request for dismissal will be filed no later than, and then he posted the date of November 1st, 2022. Court is to retain jurisdiction under Code of Civil Procedure 664.6. It's marked with the date where right here where it says the next scheduled hearing or conference purpose, status conference, which is going to be on the 27th. If they're, that's probably just to tie up any whatever loose ends, and that'll probably be it for them. No trial date set. See that it's signed. And yeah, then that's it. It's just signed, just showing that settlement has been reached by both parties involved. So I'm sure that if you haven't noticed, we got a homie here, and we got an origami. What's up, boys?
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up? What's up, homie?
What's up,
homie? How you doing?
I've been good. How have you guys been?
Good, man. Good video, by the way. Good video.
Yeah, it was funny.
So it's happened, boys. The settlement has been reached. So before we get into ZeRo's video here, does anybody have any preliminary thoughts on this settlement? And then we'll dive a little bit deeper after that.
No, we already fucking like.
I know, but we're on stream now, Aura. I know me and you talked about it. Obviously.
It's not even that we talked about it. It's just like fucking. I don't know. I don't know what the fucking outcome anyone else could have thought was going to happen would be. So
yeah,
whatever.
Well, there's always the possibility that a settlement won't be reached, but yeah, more than likely this was going to be the outcome, right? Because especially now, this is something that we didn't talk about last stream, you and I, franchise. But remember, we talked about it recently though, amongst ourselves, and that was the scam that Jisu might be a part of. Now, I'm not saying with any kind of I'm not saying as any kind of statement of fact that she scammed anybody or anything like that. That's just something that's going around. There's people that are saying that, I guess she was, and correct me if I'm wrong here with any of this franchise, but there's people saying that she was a part of an NFT group that I guess disbanded, but they never fulfilled whatever it was that they promised, and there was some people that were upset about it, or at least that's my base understanding of it.
Apparently, like, the project was just a rug pull.
Yeah,
Like,
I can say, yeah.
yeah, and it also doesn't help for Jisu when on the Chibi Versus account it says a woman-led project
Oh boy.
by Jisu by at Jisu Art. So and you
Wow.
actually go to the site, you go to the like about tab or whatever, just scroll down. Who's the team Jisu creator? It doesn't
Oh,
really.
So there was no team.
You better hope. I mean, there was a team, but like she was. You're not. This isn't a very good like look. If this is like a scam or nefarious, it's not. It's not a good look at all.
Yeah, and mind you, once again, that's just an allegation. We don't know for sure if that's the case, but you'd have to imagine, right? If that is true, right, that she is a part of some kind of NFT scam, that this also had to factor in to this case, right? Because you're thinking you don't have the funds already, the disposable funds to fight this against the guy who obviously is going to have the money to outspend you. And now if you're caught up in this scam, so to speak, where you're going to potentially owe people money for services that you did not render, probably not a good idea to try to fight a lawsuit out with a guy who's got more money than you.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. Like, well, it is that. That's a large part, but at the same time, you got to keep in mind, like, Jisu lost the anti-slap motion. They filed for anti-slap.
Yes.
What else? A lot of the other people weren't really speaking up. I guess we're going to get into it later, but
Yeah.
a lot of the people that Jisu's speaking on behalf of, it's their time to speak up now. So
yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, we'll get into
Yeah.
that too. We'll get into that too, because that's something you and I discussed, Dora. But let me get this. Thank you for the super chat, Jeremiah Hembry. I just want you to know the Queen of England says, please be respectful. She was an important and well respected. God rest her soul. You know what I mean?
Rest in peace, bro.
Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. Nobody here is going to disrespect her. I don't think anybody here has anything against the Queen.
I've seen the memes though.
Yeah.
I have no comment on memes.
I was never going to mention the Queen, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Unless
I was
Yeah. So we'll get into let's just go ahead and get into ZeRo's video. We'll comment on that a little bit. Then we'll get into all the other shit that we were planning on discussing. So here is ZeRo's video that he shared earlier today. And there's some interesting bits that I want to point out in this video that I'm sure you guys saw too. But here we go.
Hey.
Look at that man.
Hey.
He needs to change. Look at that Kool-Aid grin. Change his name to.
Hey, no, I'm just peeping the keyblade in the back. Hey, that's nice.
Yo, franchise. If you got a line to drop to ZeRo, you should tell him to change his name from Zero Wondering to 0% body fat.
John, you're
Nicky Oreo's got to catch up, dude.
I mean, he's still. You can tell he's still a little bit chunky, but he obviously noticeably thinner in the face. Good for him, though.
like, comparatively, you're going to see him in a minute. Like, yeah.
Since I've actually stepped onto camera and recorded anything, that it almost feels a little weird, but nonetheless, hello everyone. It's honestly been a while. I have been putting a lot of work during the time that I have been away from YouTube, and today I'm finally ready to share with you guys some good news. So the main purpose of this video is that I'll be talking about what the news are, what the plan moving forward is, and I also wanted to get some things off my chest that I wanted to say in this video. In the last big video I made, which spoke about the allegations to my name, I mentioned that I was launching a lawsuit. That lawsuit is now fully concluded. The details can be viewed in this document on screen right now, which you can pause the video and take a look at that. But to summarize, the document...
Okay, hold on. Let me go back for a moment because I do want to go over that real quick, which this is one thing I will say.
That lawsuit is now fully concluded. The details can be viewed in this document on screen.
The one thing I will say about this joint statement, I didn't really care for it. I am a little bit critical of it, but we'll go over it here real quick. So it says Exhibit A, Barrios and Cho's joint statement. Gonzalo Barrios and Jacqueline Cho are pleased to announce that they have settled all disputes between them. The parties call on their respective social media followers to cease harassing Mr. Barrios and Ms. Cho based on the events in the Sky House. And the parties their parties' respective social media statements. Additionally, the parties will request that any other publications and YouTube commentary content creators referencing the event, respect the parties' wishes in this regard. After months of litigation, review of Mrs. Cho's evidence, and Mrs. Cho's side of the story, Mr. Barrios now understands that Ms. Cho did not view her time at the Sky House or interactions with Mr. Barrios in the same way that Mr. Barrios experienced those events. He now understands that Ms. Cho felt harassed and demeaned and apologizes for his role and her experience. I don't think that he should have apologized for anything.
Absolutely not. Like she straight up lied.
Yeah, never apologize. But it is what it is. Mr. Barrios regrets that Ms. Cho's pain was exacerbated by public online discussion about her experiences and for his role in those discussions. See, I think this is kind of bullshit because who's the one that ran to the internet in the first place?
Yeah, Jisu.
Yep. Gotta be Jisu.
It was Jisu. She ran to the internet to cry to everybody about.
She
her
dragged
experiences.
Zero into it, though.
Yes,
So
she's the one that. Yeah, and Sky Williams.
Sky Williams.
Yeah, because she had like made some post or blog post about her abuser at the Sky House before, but then she dropped the Zero stuff then. So it's like, and it's even then Zero said like, don't harass anybody, don't harass Jisu over this in his like response.
Well, Sky also got dragged because he wouldn't drop Zero, right? Like, wasn't that one of the reasons she involved him? Yeah, that's what I thought.
And that I don't think that he ever went at him. So it's just like she involved herself. She's the one that made the rounds. She's the one that created the document. She's the one that went to the different reporters that she went to, the different live streams. She did all that. She's the one that kind of went out of her way. So after months of litigation, review of Mr. Barrios' evidence, and listening to Mr. Barrios' side of the story, Ms. Cho now understands that the statements she previously made about Mr. Barrios' wife, Vanessa, were not accurate. No shit.
I just realized.
This part I kind of have a problem with because it's like, first of all, she's already admitted that they were false, so this is kind of redundant in terms of Second of all, those statements were struck because of like statute of limitations, so I just don't understand why that's like the crux of this. So it's
that's one of the reasons why I have a problem with it too, because the main thing, right, that was actionable is the Katie stuff, right? That's the stuff that they found to have merit, and why her motion or her anti-slap motion was denied, why it was not granted, because that was the most damning thing. And honestly, I mean, really, despite all the other stuff, right? The Vanessa stuff, it's bad because it was a lie and stuff like that. But the Katie stuff was always
that's the worst part.
Yeah, that was going to be it was going to be the biggest part of the entire document. Oh, underage girl that he allegedly said this to. And that's the thing that they found the most merit with, that did proceed and wasn't, that was still within the statute of limitations, I should say. So Ms. Cho apologizes for making those statements, which were based on events witnessed by Ms. Cho. See, the other thing should have been added here is like she apologizes for other statements that she made that she did not witness, right? Like the other accusations against him. So it says, rather than waste further time, legal fees, and emotional energy, Mr. Barrios and Ms. Cho have agreed to resolve this lawsuit and move forward with their respective goals, and will focus on positive content rather than any further negativity towards each other. So I don't care much for that statement, and I don't think that he should have. I think he should have asked for a little bit more from her side. Not just the Vanessa stuff, but the other stuff, like, Mrs. Cho apologizes for perpetuating these accusations, which she does not know, that she has no idea whether or not they hold any merit. You know what I mean? Something to that effect.
He should have asked for public retractions.
Well, she did end up. Well,
she did. She retracted all her statements.
And I'm pretty sure if we probably try to find her tweets regarding him, I'm sure
I can't see anything she writes. I'm blocked by Jisu, so I don't know what the fuck she's saying.
I went to get check. All of her statements are pretty much gone.
Yeah, the document's been deleted too.
Yeah, good shit. All I saw was that freaking proclamation twitlonger you sent me that I refused to read because I was like, "What the fuck?"
It's nothing. It's sympathy baiting, dude.
It's basically
I felt trapped, and then she mentions like Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga.
It's self-aggrandizing. It's a self-aggrandizing, opus, right? She's just it's just her basically, you know, like you said, franchise, she's sympathy baiting and basically really just still trying to make it about just her and not what she potentially did to somebody else, right? I've suffered so much, but now it's all over. I'm glad. You know, it's really dumb. So we'll continue on with this video here real quick.
Thank you for your money.
Right now, which you can pause the video and take a look at that. But to summarize, the document in which all of the allegations made to my name has now been fully deleted. However, this document has been deleted by the person who made it, Jisu, as part of this legal conclusion. So to put it bluntly, that movie with that individual is fully resolved at this point in time. We are not meant to address the topic further, and I kindly ask everyone watching to just not go and harass any party involved in this, especially her, because now this is just fully resolved. To follow up on the topic of allegations, I am aware that there are further allegations made to my name by an individual that goes of the name of Katie. To my knowledge, this individual, Katie, made their statement with the assistance of Jisu and also included their statement in the bigger document that Jisu created. To be fully transparent, I have been pursuing this individual for a while to be able to fully resolve the issue through the appropriate legal channels. However, we believe that this individual is intentionally avoiding any sort of contact with my legal team. Because of
Now, why would she do that, right? If the truth is on her side.
I mean, especially when Jisu needed her the most, but whatever.
Right, exactly. That would be the opportune time, right? I mean,
Well,
when
needed
Jisu-
her most. She vanished.
Yeah.
Fire Nation attack.
Fucking, I'm just saying, I'm like, everyone's on this guy, calling him this and that definitively. And I'm like, but like, when it's time for people to step up and they could put the bad guy away, they're nowhere to be found. I don't know.
It seems to be the case. It seems to be a trending thing with Twitter things that happen on Twitter, because Twitter things are Twitter things. And I get sick and tired of it because none of these people ever go to the police. And this is one of those rare times when you see something like this happen. You know?
Well, remember, his lawsuit wasn't just at Jisu. It was also 10 Jane Does. And you have to, and I think it's fair, it's pretty fair to assume, especially now, especially after this video, I think it's pretty fair to assume that one of those Jane Does was Katie, right? So you would think that at least a handful of them would come forward and back up Jisu, right? No, everything she said was true. You know what I mean? I'm one of the Jane Does, and they left her hanging out to dry, and she's, you know, she wanted to be the one that fought the battle for them,
victims.
And be the voice, be their voice and stuff like that. But when push came to shove, where were any of they? And you hear now, look, he's saying, hey, look, he knows who Katie is. His lawyers know who Katie is. That's pretty evident at this point, right? And a good lawyer is going to find out regardless. So,
he definitely knows, and he even mentions that later on.
For sure.
So
for sure.
And I'm excited to see like if that actually goes further. Like, I just want to know who she is.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Look, the thing is, look, if anything she said holds any merit and she really believes it, now would be the time, right, to step forward, right?
Now would be the time for anybody. Like, it'd be the time for anybody.
Them, yeah.
I always hear the excuse, I don't go to the police because nothing ever happens. I'm like, this is one of those instances where something can definitely happen, and it's time to put the bad guy away. That's the way I see it. I don't know if anyone else agrees. I don't really care because no one's going to change my mind. So
no, I think what you're saying is completely reasonable because I'm sick and tired of false allegations in general. I want, for once, there to actually be a legitimate reason to actually believe a victim when they're on the internet.
Well, it's because nobody wants to support somebody who's doing some crazy shit like that, right? And like, I think we've all agreed, and we still agree, that, you know, ZeRo's engaging with this girl was inappropriate. It's not the right thing to do. But at the same time, like, I think we would like people who cross that kind of line or do something like that face the proper repercussions that they deserve, right? So 100%. I don't like this bullshit. Like, that's what I'm trying to say.
That's what I mean. It's just like, look, all it takes is people, right? If the truth is really on your side, you should have no problem fighting, right? It's just like, oh, I got this. You know what I mean? Truth is on my side and I have evidence to back it up, then step up. You know, again, look, Jisu put it all on her, which is something she said she was going to do. But again, you know, She did this for y'all, and not a single one of you stepped up. And again, look, I guess that's the whole point, obviously, of them. Somebody would argue and say, well, they wanted to be anonymous and they wanted to remain anonymous. Well, I mean, yeah, they sure as fuck did.
I think
They
it's
could
very
do that.
telling.
They could do that. But again, yeah, exactly. You would think that if you're looking at Jisu as somebody who's going out of her way to tell your story, right, on her platform, you would at least come to her aid when she needed you, and none of them did. None of them put out a statement. None of them even filed any kind of declaration on her behalf. Only these Super Smash Brothers players, right? Like Leffen and some guy that
IBW.
customizes controllers named Sammy and this other Smash player.
Gooms.
Yeah,
Gooms
Yeah.
does the controllers.
Yeah.
And IBDW, which is one of her exes.
Oh, we're gonna go over. Oh yeah, we're gonna go over IDDW's declaration later, so that'll be fun because
About
that's something
him.
I
I
hadn't done
remember it.
before.
I remember him now. Holy shit, I
Yeah.
forgot about that guy.
You forgot about that. You're right. I got the filings a while ago.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Electrician, for the 5. I high key wish this actually went to court because Jisu essentially faced no consequences for actions. Well, I mean, look, there's going to be. I think the consequence for her action is really going to be the fact that, credibility, right? Then, except she cries wolf. I think most people, at least any that have half a brain, are going to look at it and be like, last time you made these kind of claims, it didn't really go well for you. You had to settle in a lawsuit. So
Well, especially like with the timing, right? We had the Amber Heard shit, right? Like, so just to use that as an example, this seems to be the year where a lot of people start fighting back against accusers. And it's taking a little bit of a turn. So like stuff like that is going to make an impact. Yeah. Like you said, credibility. I can see it.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Me too. Me too's getting a slap in the face.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's only so many times you could cry wolf, right? So
Pretty much.
To this,
Well, like-
I am unable to fully resolve
go
the
ahead, Ora.
I was just going to throw an example, kind of like if you look at like the Craig Beckett situation, right, where there is receipts and their stuff was backed up and stuff like that, and how his response was handled, and he made like, these kind of things, like it's kind of clear and cut. So I don't know. I just feel like the way things need to be handled is like better if you're going to throw out allegations and shit like that, but it's not really important. Keep playing the video.
All right.
issue properly through the legal channel. However, I do have additional evidence to defend myself with, but this evidence is being reserved for legal purposes should this issue come up again in a court of law. Essentially,
I like how he zoomed in on his face, like, try me. So, I mean, to me, that tells me that he has something that he believes will exonerate him completely if this comes back up for any reason. You know what I mean?
That sounds like a good idea. Hey, I say let's.
I'm assuming. I don't know. Look, I don't know that for a fact. I'm just
Hey,
speculating.
he seemed pretty confident. Yeah, that's
He
it.
seems pretty confident.
I
that he has
mean,
something
it's
that will
it-
completely debunk these Katie claims. You know what I mean? If they come back up again. So
I don't want my life to be held up by allegations made by a completely anonymous individual. To further clarify, allegations that I fully deny, and their biggest allegation, which claims soliciting, there is no evidence for. Moving on from all of this, my plan is to continue moving forward making content, in which I plan to do Smash and all the other various topics that I was doing before, such as vlogs, other games, yada yada. I was expanding, right? I still plan to do that. But for the people that really want Smash content out of me, I am actually planning on creating my own Smash Bros. Course, which is going to feature like over 10 hours of pretty much everything I know in Smash. Once I get that out there, I'll be able to fully get all of the Smash stuff out the way, and people will be able to kind of just get everything they want from me with Smash, right? In terms of learning from me, right? I am also going to be starting a new Valorant channel. I am really big on the FPS that Riot created, and I played quite a bit. I was actually Immortal 2 last season, so that puts me somewhere in the 1 to 2% of player base. So I know how to, keyboard and mouse, FPS. I'm not that bad, okay? Not claiming to be a professional, but I do have a lot of genuine passion in which I want to pursue, so I'm making a new Valorant channel, and I'm going to be making a lot of content on that one. It would actually mean the world to me if you guys went and visited that channel. I actually have a video up right now featuring my first Valorant video. There are more videos that are in the works right now, and I will appreciate if you guys go support the channel, subscribe, watch the video, give it a shot. I would also be formally appealing my ban to Twitch. They actually indefinitely banned me from the events of 2020. They never really gave me a chance to defend myself, and I feel like I should not be banned anymore. Matter of fact, I will appreciate if you guys supporting me, no matter either supporting the cause for me to be unbanned, or if anybody knows anybody that I should talk to that I can present a well-appealed case to, I'm all ears. It has always been important for me to do well by my platform, and it's not right that people say I abused my platform during the era of these allegations. Just to clarify, the allegations are dated to 2014 when I was 19. Now today, I'm a few months away from being 28. Back then, I did not have a sizable platform. Matter of fact, if you actually go back and look at 2014, it was very common that Smash players did not even have Twitter. None of them made content. Matter of fact, nobody believed in making content. We just went to tournaments. That was what you did. You went to tournaments. That was it. Some top players even used to make fun of me for having a Twitter. For the few hundred followers that I had, it was a meme. I think it's important to make that distinction because I did not leverage my platform at my peak to do nefarious things. And simply put, I believe I should be able to make content again and be able to make content in peace. Now, I'm aware that despite all of this, there's always going to be a group of people that will never think this is enough. Furthermore, I believe that the higher-ups in the Smash community never truly liked me. But even before the allegations, I didn't really want to attend events anymore.
Yeah, especially if you know like how people would talk about Zero back then. I think that definitely I think holds some merit.
That's a statement that he's always said. Zero has documentaries, and there's been like a couple things that people have done on him, like little videos discussing like his career, and it's always kind of been the same. And he's always kind of said that sentiment, like
shit, I remember that sentiment, dude. I remember how people would talk about Zero back then. You know what I mean?
I remember.
So
anymore since I retired, but I really just did not want to show up to events anymore. I never really felt welcome, to be honest. But today, I definitely could not bring myself to attend them again, right? Even if I was able to. So I don't realistically think the bridge there can be really repaired. However, one really harmful thing that's been going on is that since they cannot stop me from making content, what they instead do is that they prevent other people to make content with me. What they do is that if you make content with me or appear in my content or play with me or acknowledge me in some capacity, they threaten some of those players to be banned, or they'll let their sponsors know, so then their sponsors will potentially drop them, so then they have to fall in line. Matter of fact, a close friend of mine had their sponsor drop them because they played a game of Valorant off stream with me. I just want you to think about that for a second. I think it is insane that they will go as far as that while still allowing other controversial figures in the community have anybody be able to collab with them or work with them in any capacity, and there is nothing that happens to those guesses, those people collabing with those controversial figures. In my opinion, there's just a very clear case of bias. And I think it is shameful that a community with such a poor track record, inconsistent bias, and unfairness in the cases they have handled can still play the role of executioner and jury, regardless of what the law says. And I think at this point, it's just harassment. Finally, to get this off my chest, I think Leffen is still the biggest perpetrator in my entire situation. He lied in a story to make me look worse in a critical moment, a story in which I have witnesses in person who were there to witness what actually happened. Witnesses who have made statements to say that Leffen was lying. And these are not random players. These are well-established top players in Japan.
Don.
He also made a video that
got... somebody in your chat asked an interesting question. FPN fan 177. I'll read it to you. Doesn't Zero holding the evidence instead of making it public was the same move as Nairo? I would say the difference is that Zero tried to get a hold of them, this individual legally. They're not responding, so he's just waiting for in case something happens, there would be a legal resolution to it instead of just blasting it out there. And plus, especially though he's acting, he doesn't want people to be harassed over this shit, and he doesn't want the drama to go on. He's just trying to clear his name. Nairo's like, I got raped. Here's an NDA, and leave me alone. So I don't know. You could correct me if you're wrong. If I'm wrong.
I mean, that's pretty much that's pretty much it. Plus, he had people cut and paste pretty much the same statement. Maybe change the words a little bit, but it was essentially the same statement. He had like 10 of his friends or so, basically cut and paste the same statement.
Yeah, that's a good question, though. I just wanted to address it.
No, it's a fair question. It's a fair question.
Yeah.
And I think, again, and I would agree, it's just like I think it's a little bit different because of the fact that, again, this person has decided to avoid contact with his attorneys. So I don't think he's trying to
bury it or anything.
Yeah, I don't think he's trying to
in his
bury
back
it, and I don't
pocket.
think he's trying to paint a target on her either and be like, "Yo, this is the bitch right here. Go get her." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think
because like I don't even think Zach made a statement when Nairo came out. I can't remember. So
yeah,
I think it was just Nairo.
Yeah, I think he's just holding it as an ace up of his sleeve in case this person decides to come back with the same shit, and he could be like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna put this one to rest for good now. Here's my evidence that completely exonerates me of any wrongdoing. Because it sounds like he has something that will 100% just, destroy whatever claims that she has. And the thing is, again, it's pretty telling, right? The fact that she won't even respond to his attorneys, right? I don't think he's interested in trying to sue that person. I think he just wants this person to acknowledge, hey, you said these things about me. You and I both know that these aren't true. You exaggerated some things and you straight up lied about other things. I just want you to set the record straight. I'm not trying to get money from you. I'm not trying to ruin your life. I won't even say who you are or anything like that. But I'd appreciate it if you just put out a public statement basically retracting the shit that you said. That's probably what he's looking for. Because think about this, right? He didn't get any. It doesn't seem like he's going to get anything from Jisu, right? I don't think it doesn't seem like I didn't see anything regarding, attorney's fees or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just more about, hey, look, stop talking about me, retract the shit that you said, and let's go our separate ways. Don't ever mention me again. And that's something we had talked about streams ago too. Remember, or we had talked about that's probably what he's looking for is just, for this shit to basically be quashed completely.
Pretty much. I think he makes it like very evident here where he's like, I'm not going to have my life be destroyed by allegations from a completely anonymous person. Shit like that. Which I think is fair. I think if you're going to like fuck somebody's life up, you should like show who the fuck you are. I don't think it's fair to be completely anonymous and shit like that, but like, that's just my opinion. So
yeah,
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you want people to believe you. Like you can't be believed if you're behind a veil or a mask or any form of anonymity. Like like how are we supposed to trust the source if we don't even know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The only person I think Katie went to was Jisu. I don't know anyone else really. I don't know any other like Smash players talking to this person. I don't know this person like never got questioned by anybody like they're asking questions. Like, no, all we have is the conversations between Katie and Jisu, and that's all we got to go on. And ZeRo's admission, which he later retracted anyway. So it's whatever.
Yeah, and the thing is again. And looking further into those messages, and we've talked about this before, her motivation seemed to change from conversation to conversation, why it was that she, either saved those conversations or decided to share them, right?
Yeah.
It went from, oh, I did it for peace of mind, then to, well, I did it for in case I would never need to defend myself against them. And it's just like, okay, well, which one is it? You know what I mean?
I did it. I did it because these are good memories. And those are very
for posterity.
Interesting. Yeah, posterity, and those are interesting messages to save for posterity. Then it's like, oh, I saved them for self-defense. He's too powerful. Like it's always an excuse for something. So it's shaky. It's a shaky story.
And again, what would you need to defend yourself from? And again, if you wanted to defend yourself against something nefarious, why wouldn't you save the most damning things, right?
Mm-hmm.
The things that would really be like, oh fuck, like how do you explain this, ZeRo?
Yeah, the Ice Cube thing.
Context is here. This is bad, right?
Yeah. Like that whole Ice Cube story is like one of those things that doesn't even have any sort of evidence towards or anything. So that's why whenever I heard people talking about that this was like a story that he admitted to, I'm like, well, he was likely in distress and he was just, tripping. Like people admit to stuff that they don't do like all the time.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's just like, and that's, I know that's something that for some, it's hard for them to wrap around and people just read with them. Well, but why would he lie about it? It's like, well, why would he admit to shit that he didn't do that other people that spoke on his behalf were like, no, yeah, that didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and keep this in mind, like he's on the hot seat. Other people defending him, they have no reason to do that other than to just either just tell the truth or, but like when you're in the hot seat, a lot of people tend to just they either do one or two things. Either they keep quiet or they say something. That they'll tend to say something if they know you well enough, or they know you enough to defend you from certain things that are not true.
Oh,
So that's kind of like why you mentioned earlier why these other girls didn't come forward. It's very telling when you see that none of them come forward, but then you see other people defending ZeRo, and they didn't have to do that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
They didn't have to involve themselves.
John, my food got here, so I'm gonna leave. You gentlemen have a good stream.
All right, you have a good
All
one,
right,
man.
man.
Take it easy.
So we'll continue on with the video here.
Had over 1 million views, tarnishing my name and profiting off of it as well. He also tried to make himself sound as one of my great friends just to validate his claims further. And despite being somebody that at every single turn in this entire situation kept trying to bury me down, kept trying to make sure I was well below multiple feet underground, he still had the audacity to act as if he cared. When I made an attempt to take my life and I was in the hospital, he has the audacity to go on Twitter and make a comment and pretend he cared, when he himself is one of the largest drivers to that scenario, getting as much bad attention and as big of a hate mob possible. And that is what all the tweets, all the videos, all the streams he made covering my situation. To this day, all he's done.
Yeah, and I would think it's fair to say, and would you agree with this franchise that that outside of Jisu, at least in terms of Smash players, I would say that Leffen was the next one, he was the one that was signal boosting it the most outside of Jisu.
Yeah. My favorite part is like he has a command in his chat, like !hero.
Oh,
or like he's like, I'm not a hero. I just spoke up and amplified the voices of victims. I'm like, dude, you are such a narcissist.
Yeah, absolutely. The arrogance, man. It's astounding.
Done is ignore the situation. He's never offered any type of remorse or any type of apology whatsoever. And he even went as far as signing over his false story as evidence against my legal matters. If that's not something, then I don't know what it is.
Secondly, he shared an allegation
franchise
underage mods, which would not only be a crime in and of itself, but would also corroborate Jisu's story of ZeRo sharing hentai with people who didn't want it. However, not only did the moderator literally beg ZeRo for the content, but they weren't even a minor to begin with. So both aspects of Leffen's allegation were false.
Moving on,
just to clarify something else real quick, franchise. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but a lot of the claims that Leffen backed up, weren't they also, some of the claims were ones that he wasn't actively present for? Right? That he backed up in regards to Jisu? There were ones he backed up some of her claims in situations that he wasn't even there, right?
Yeah. But what he was basically trying to do is, so Jisu said like ZeRo showed her hentai or whatever on the big screen television at the Sky House, and Leffen wanted to back that up with his personal experience at Apex 2013 and how he was like, oh, well, ZeRo was looking at hentai with these players when ZeRo just said like, hey, ZeRo said in this video, like, hey, this is false. Like the people involved are like, this is false. And then he also added that other story of him like sharing hentai with or whatever with his Discord members as a way to like back that up. So just that's basically what he was trying to do, like back up her story with false stories he had, and just never apologized. And he did the same thing with Westballs too. Like Westballs, there was a story of him like grooming some girl at MVG Sandstorm, which is a tournament in like 2015. And Leffen was like, oh, I saw him with a girl, so that means he did it. And then the girl herself said like, no, this didn't happen. Like, and nobody contacted her. Like no TOs contacted her before she made her statement. And then Leffen just was like, I'm not going to apologize, or doesn't need to apologize. So like the dude, obviously, he's like in my Jisu video, I called him Esam without a soul because he'll just, it's literally the same thing. Like he'll just push these allegations, but at least Esam apologized for what he did, for like any accusations he pushed that were false. At least he did that and retracted them. Whereas
he had so much of a conscience.
The only allegations he like retracted were the Mewtwo King ones. And that's because Mewtwo King pushed back like over a year later.
Yeah, the Mewtwo King stuff too is sad too, because imagine having to essentially share something with, with the public that is like one of your, you know what I'm saying? It's like basically a secret that you would never want to share with anybody, right?
Yeah.
Something deeply personal. So
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the fact that they even made up some crazy stuff. First of all, hentai, that's prawn. So you would think something like that a lot of people would have saw if it was in the living room, especially in that house.
yeah,
It's a shared
And
room
if I'm not
fine.
like if I'm not mistaken, like there was like 15, 20 people in there at any given time, at least that amount, and none of them are able to cooperate this story.
yeah, exactly.
That's weird. That's weird, dude.
And you would think at least one person, right? That was at that house that had to, you would think that there had to have been at least maybe one or two people that were friendly with Jisu, right? Enough to come forward and corroborate her claims, or at the very least, right? I even lie for her, right? But that didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Now that I
It's
think
almost
about
like
it,
some people had integrity.
now that I think about it, Leffen is what commentary thought I'm Alex was.
Yeah.
When you think about it. And the funny thing is, Nicholas Diorio's like, oh, I'm indifferent on Leffen. Like, I don't see the problem. Hacks is crazy. Franchise Hacksinated series is dumb. Meanwhile,
This is.
Leffen is just I'm Alex on roids.
I mean, the thing
hates
about
that
Nick though, the thing about Nick though is that he was willing to tolerate John's bullcrap for like forever,
Yeah.
and decided when all this stuff was about to like come on the entire community, he decided then to step in. He didn't step in at any point in time prior to that.
Yeah.
So I that right there just tells me everything I need to know about him.
Well, I mean, exactly. It shows the kind of judgment, right, that he has. So
I hope
He
this is
literally
truly
had
the
a tweet
start
that was
of
like,
me being
he
able to
jerks
get
off
back.
to getting like betrayed by his friends or whatever.
yeah.
And Tech was like, or maybe you just pick bad friends.
Yeah.
That he's not
I
a
think-
good judge of character at all.
Not really.
Something that I truly enjoyed. I have been able to find fulfillment outside of my online life and outside of video games, outside of everything that I built. I have been able to find happiness again. I got married.
he looks
I
happy.
dedicated myself to becoming much more
Dude, he
fit. I
looks
really
great.
enjoy the
Yeah.
fitness lifestyle. I've lost over 165 pounds so far. I go to the gym frequently. I even picked up boxing as a main hobby, and I box very frequently every week. I started a successful business outside of gaming, which has been keeping me and my family afloat, not the gaming stuff. But being able to create content and entertain people has always been a passion of mine. And it's something that I genuinely will enjoy being able to get to do again, both in terms of videos and streaming. Not that this is off my chest. My legal matters have concluded, and I've said pretty much everything I have to say on this piece. Hopefully, I can just move on in peace and just do what I want to do. And this is the last time that we really have to talk about any of this. I appreciate everyone for watching, and I'll be doing my best to frequently upload both to this channel and also to the Valorant channel. So hopefully I see you guys around in the comment section on the next videos, but also if I get unbanned on Twitch on the streams as well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.
I mean, you can see the big difference is the way he carries himself. He
Yes.
seems happier. You know,
Yeah.
what I mean,
Absolutely.
he obviously, right? Even his skin is clearing up. Looks like his
Well,
skin is
that's
clearing up.
a
Good for
that's
him.
a side effect of going to the gym and getting healthy.
Quitting
Yeah,
Smash.
I mean, I think that's
Quitting
great.
like anything like trying to have better habits. You know, Nicholas should definitely adopt a few of those. He probably would
Yeah.
benefit greatly.
Oh, for sure. So let's go over. I want to go over one of the declarations, and that is specifically this one, because this is one that I didn't go over back around the time this was happening, because I wanted to save it really till after there was going to be some kind of resolution to this case, whether it would have been, them going to court or and that panning out or something like this. So this is a declaration from IDBW. Is that it? His name?
Who's-
Cody?
Cody Schwab, yes.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one because this guy says, right, I, Cody Schwab, declare and state as follows. He did this declaration for Jisu, by the way. I'm a professional gamer and over 18 years of age, and I make this declaration in support of defendant Jacqueline Cho's special motion to strike plaintiff Gonzalo Barrios' complaint. I make this declaration based on my personal knowledge of the facts set forth herein, and if called upon to testify thereto, I could and would competently do so under oath. My professional name is IBDW. And I'm a professional Super Smash Brothers player. While I have never been formally introduced to Gonzalo Zero Barrios, I have interacted with him intermittently at various Smash events. Zero is also a well-known professional Super Smash Brothers player. I met Jacqueline Cho, also known as Jisu, in early 2019 at a Super Smash Brothers event. She and I became close and had many discussions about hardships in our past. In particular, we had both been victims of SA, and we regularly discussed trauma we went through, and she told me that she had experienced what she had experienced at the Sky House as a minor, living with Barrios and others like him. She told me how Barrios and others called her names, making fun of the SA she was suffering at the hands of her abuser, and how Barrios would purposely, exited out on that last one, right? Would purposely show her hentai and sex worker ads over her protest. She mentioned this experience several times to me before she ultimately went public with her story, and her retellings always remained the same, where she emphasized how she felt trapped and didn't know how to make Barrios' conduct stop. Each time she told me about her experiences at the Sky House, I could see how much she had suffered and continues to suffer due to this abuse in her past. In June 2020, allegations of sexual misconduct were raised against prominent members of the Smash community. After Zero posted a statement relating to accusations against some of his friends, Jisu posted a response to him describing how he used to show her sex worker ads and hentai when she was a minor living at the Sky House. In response, she received a shocking amount of hatred and anger from Barrios' fans and others in the Smash community, including accusations she had made up her whole story. I observed how shaken and scared she was by the threats and harassment directed at her. On July 3rd, 2020, I posted a statement describing how I lived with Jisu for approximately a year, and Jisu told me how Zero showed her explicit content when she was a minor multiple times and that her story never changed long before she went public with it. I made this statement because I couldn't stay silent while she was being viciously attacked. The true and correct copy of the statement I posted regarding Jisu and Zero's attached here to as Exhibit A. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. So this is what he's talking about, the thing he posted online. And what I think is interesting, and we'll go over this too, and I'm going to ask you, Franchise, about it to see if you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is what he posted in regards to that. I would like to preface this by saying I've never had any substantial interaction with Zero. I have absolutely no desire to have him removed from the community, nor do I have any personally developed opinion of him. I just have additional information, would like to clear up some discrepancies and address some claims. Yesterday, Jisu came out with a post in response to Zero's tweet longer stating that he showed her Craigslist ads of sex and hentai when she was a minor 15 years old and constantly harassing her while living in the Sky House. For some context, I lived with Jisu approximately a year. I can confirm personally that the issue has been brought up to me on multiple occasions, and the storyline never changed long before there was any thought of making it public. Every time it was mentioned, it was never made public because nothing good would come of it, and Zero seemingly had changed for the better. The only reason it's being brought out now is because the community has a chance to overhaul the way it acts as a whole and prevent so many things that have come to light in the past few days from ever happening again. And one of the biggest figureheads is claiming ignorance. This is not an attempt to get Zero removed from the community. It's funny how he repeats that, right? And that's been made painfully clear, an attempt to hold people accountable for their actions and to have someone who has messed up in the past, like all of us have, to admit to his mistakes, and to have one of the community's biggest role models set a good example by acknowledging how he has had or needs to improve. Anyone who thinks Jisu is doing it for clout, why would she take a year-long break from Twitter if she cared about clout? By the time she comes back, most people probably won't even remember that she's the one who brought this up. She has absolutely nothing to gain from it. This is the same person who came out with one of the, if not the first major SA allegations against the top player, the same person who's been calling out this behavior for 3 years, the same person who has spoken up about this more. It was even on anyone else's radar besides those who were victimized. This is the last person who would attempt a clout chase, because in all these instances, it easily could have detracted her from more than it helped. She did it to make the community a better place and to prevent people from going through the same things that she did. There was no ulterior motive. Again, X to doubt. Regarding death threats, if you think of it in any way, it is in any way acceptable to threaten someone for coming out with a story, then you have absolutely no place in this or any other community. This is why people have problems coming out coming forward with stories, even when people you're defending would ostracize you for that type of behavior. Under no circumstances is that acceptable behavior. I disagree completely. I think what stops people from coming out with stories is people that tell false stories.
Yeah, because then it's like the boy who cried wolf.
Yep.
I essentially,
something that I forgot to mention, when it said Jisu lived there when she was 15, that's not true. She was 16 before she arrived at the house.
Yep.
So it's like it's such a dumb thing for her to lie about.
Yep. And then
I guess because like in her, like she was groomed by some video, but apparently like the age of consent in Ohio was like 16 or something. So maybe that's why she said she was younger.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, so
that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, check that out. This is another interesting part here, right? Regarding ZeRo's statement, sure, it's not inconceivable that if this occurred, he doesn't remember it, but nowhere in his apology does he even address the magnitude of that behavior. Why would he if he didn't do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I understand he's trying to defend himself, but all that was needed, even if he didn't remember it, was to make it explicitly clear that this type of behavior is in no way acceptable. I think he did that initially anyways. When he first responded to all this stuff, he kind of condemned that kind of behavior from what I remember. And that these claims need to be taken seriously because this behavior is clearly rampant in the Smash community. Regarding the Katie Twitlonger, I have absolutely no information on that and can't make any statement other than personally vouching for Jisu's work ethic and diligence when it comes to this matter, which makes me, which makes me as positive as I can be that she would have brought anything forward if it wasn't an overwhelming probability that there was truth behind it. Yeah, like Vanessa.
Man, that
right?
work ethic, dude. Damn.
Yep. Like Vanessa, right? Like Vanessa. You know how that worked out well for her. But you know what's interesting about all this, right? All the stuff that Cody says, and correct me if I'm wrong, franchise. Isn't it interesting that nowhere in his filing here in his declaration, it's interesting. He never mentions the fact that he dated Jisu.
Yeah. I mean, it said they lived together, so that's probably.
Yeah, but even still, why wouldn't you mention the fact that you're in a relationship with this person? Yeah. You know, we just live together. Okay, that's kind of vague because it could just be you were roommates, right?
Yeah,
it would establish like a bias, like a strong bias. So
exactly, and that's why
he
didn't mention
this stuff before she said it. So I personally believe it, and here's just my personal account of it. And it's like, I mean, that's not really evidence. Like at least Leffen's like presenting another story, as false as it is. At least he's like presenting something else, other than just like, we talked about it, and I trust her.
And you know, she wouldn't say anything. She wouldn't say anything publicly that's not probable.
So
yeah. I mean, look, Nathan Kim. I can't speak to whether or not he's a liar.
Stupid.
Yeah, I think that's what it boils down to. He's just dumb, and he just fell for, you know, he just fell for her bullshit and just reiterated her bullshit. I think that's all it really comes down to. You know, she found 3 suckers that were willing to make statements on her behalf. The other one would be Gooms, the guy that you mentioned earlier, franchise Gooms. Did you ever see his declaration?
Yeah, it was just like him saying, "Oh, ZeRo confessed to this, so here it is."
Yeah,
that's all. Bro,
his declaration basically amounts to him saying, like, "Well, I was told this stuff, so I just repeated it, and I was asked to save screenshots or share screenshots that I had saved, so that's what I did."
Yeah, like why couldn't Jisu just do that herself?
Yes. I was just like, oh my god. Yeah. So that's what we have now. So I guess we'll close that out here in a bit. But I think at this point, I don't think we're ever going to get a scenario where Katie, right, comes forward. If she's on the run now regarding these,
ZeRo's probably like a big target right now.
Yeah.
Like coming up being
and again,
like,
I don't think ZeRo has
everything. Like this is now's the time, if anything. And
yeah, exactly. Now would be the perfect time, right? I mean, stand by. But well, that's the other thing too. Again, if you're telling the truth about what you said, then you should have no fear of speaking to his lawyers. Because again, look, you could hand over what it is that you have. You could get I don't know if you would want to get representation, but again, you would have something, right?
yeah,
And it seems like he has something for sure that he feels confident enough that will clear him if this should come up again. But the whole thing of her just avoiding the lawyers, I mean, look, just talking to you're not necessarily going to go to court. Just acknowledging talking with his lawyers is not you. You don't have to worry about being dragged to court unless you're going to, publicly try the shit that Jisu did, right? That you're going to bring it back up and try to defame him and run with this this bullshit, right? And I don't think that that's ZeRo's interest. I mean, at least not the way it comes across again. And that's just from the way this all went down with the settlement. The fact that I see nothing in any of the filings so far that says that Jisu has to pay any of his lawyer fees. And on the flip side of that, he doesn't seem to have to pay any of her lawyer fees.
Yeah.
I
know.
So
Tech had to take down a ZeRo video, because you remember how there was that filing from Jisu that was like, oh, we're considering like countersuing or whatever.
yes.
That was because of like other parties or whatever, and we suspected like it could be regarding Tech. Well, apparently that's the reason.
It is the reason. Okay. So yeah. I remember we talked about that.
His video's gone.
That's wild. I have a feeling, due to the mirror uploading, I'm sure it'll appear again. Nothing's ever truly gone to the internet. So, but
it's
this whole thing.
It's gone.
Like I said, I don't think ZeRo has any interest in like trying to sue this girl into oblivion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He probably just wants to be like, hey, look, you and I both know that he probably just wants to put it out there like, you and I both know this is bullshit. You tried to destroy me over something that you know is false. You just need to just retract what you said and make it clear that it was bullshit. You know what I mean? That's it. And that's probably all his lawyers were seeking to do in regards, hey, we're not going to take you to court, but you need to take down your little twit longer or whatever, and you need to retract what you said. That's it. You need to put a statement out that says, look, what I put out there was not entirely true or wasn't true at all. Something like that. I'm sure he would even, ZeRo seems like he would even take something like that, right? And I say that based on the statement that he put out with Jisu, that he would probably even take her just saying like, okay, I might have fudged a couple things that I said and exaggerated some other things. You know what I mean? All that I said wasn't entirely true. And I did try to paint this narrative or whatever, I retract all I said, and, I will not speak about him anymore publicly or even just apologize. Right. Maybe all he would have required from her is some kind of public apology and retraction. Cause again, this lawsuit wasn't about money, at least not for ZeRo. Yeah. Because he wasn't awarded anything in the settlement, as far as I know. I mean, maybe if more stuff comes out, but it doesn't seem like there was any kind of, monetary reward for him in this.
Yeah, it just seems like they had their joint statement, and then Jisu took down the documents, and he also doesn't have to like admit fault for anything.
Yeah,
there's that.
And I see no reason why he wouldn't do that with the Katie girl, right? Where he would just be like, hey, look, just take down the stuff that you said about me, apologize for it, right? And say that it was, you and I both know it's bullshit. I have the evidence. If you don't want me to make a bigger fool out of you than you might already feel right now, just take down the shit and retract. You know what I mean? Just say, look, I got it wrong. That's it. And we'll leave it at that. So.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. It's done. It's a done deal. We talked about it, franchise, that was probably going to be the likely outcome, although there's always the possibility that stuff could still go to court. But it's good to see that it's good to see a case like this end, even if I don't necessarily agree with like the joint statement that was put out with it.
Yeah. I assumed that there was going to be like an apology from Jisu of some
Yeah.
kind, but apparently not.
I think Zero is just in that regard. That's where I would have the criticism from, right? Of him being way too nice and charitable of a guy. I didn't care for the joint statement, but it's done. It is what it is. You know, I would have just said, look, I wouldn't have apologized for anything. I would have just said, now I understand that she feels this kind of way from her. I understand that she felt a certain kind of way from her experiences living at the Sky House. I can acknowledge that, and that's unfortunate that she felt that way. But you know, I had nothing to do. I had nothing to do with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, or even not that he didn't even necessarily have to say that he didn't have anything to do with it, but just kind of just an acknowledgement. Like, now I understand that from what she has said and what I've seen, that she felt this kind of way, and that's unfortunate. But be that as it may, the things that I was accused of doing to her while I was there were not true. They just were not true. So I think that's how it should have gone. I don't think he should have apologized for anything, because I still think that that's something that people are going to use against him, right? And you know, what do you think is going to be the aftermath of all this now? What do you guys think? Because I think anybody who talked about it before, like in terms of commentary, are probably going to say, well, it doesn't, just because they settled doesn't mean that he's not guilty of this stuff, which that's fair. That would be fair to say. But I mean,
I think the argument can be made that they can't just simply say that he's guilty.
yeah. What do you think, Fran?
I don't know. In Smash, this is probably just going to be like swept under the rug. So
Yeah, of
there's
course.
that. My only hope is like I'm probably gonna make like an ultra mega like clickbait video that's like Jisu
Yes,
lost, and
do
like
it.
hopefully bait like someone big like Ludwig on Mogul Mail
Or
to
Leffen?
cover it. No, Leffen is never gonna do it. The second Leffen like interacts with me, he's gonna get completely destroyed.
Well, here, look, he already kind of looks stupid. He already looks stupid before any of this stuff, and I think that this is not going to help, right?
Yeah.
So
The second he like if he ever addresses me in any capacity, it's just gonna look bad for him.
yeah, I agree. But that's pretty much it. I think we'll wrap it up here. I appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you, Chosen. Thank you, Franchise. For those of you that are not aware, yes, Homie is the Franchise. It's actually the
Oh,
franchise. You guys need to check out his channel. Need to check out Chosen's
Just dropped
channel.
a new video
Yep,
today.
he just dropped a new video. Good video. You guys should check it out. Funny stuff. Be sure to check that out, and check out Chosen as well. His channel name is Chosen Reborn. It's Chosen Reborn, right? Or is it? Or do you have it? You don't have it. The
You'll
same
find
as
it. You'll find it. And it's fine. You'll find it. But mainly, I'm on TikTok. Just follow me there. I do anime shit. So whatever.
But yeah, if there's any more finds, I don't think there's supposed to be. I guess one more conference, and I guess that's just going to be to kind of, you know, dot the I's and cross the T's. Actually, did you guys? Now, I don't want to go over. Actually, there's one more thing that I do kind of want to address here real quick, and I don't want to go over the entire thing. But did you read all of Jisu's tweet longer, Fran, or no?
The like sympathy baiting one.
The After Years of Torment one.
I
Yeah.
tried. I just like skimmed through it. Let me open this up. I just skimmed through it, and then I see the words like Britney Spears, Kesha, and Lady Gaga, and I'm like,
yeah.
this is
so
bad.
She put this out today. I'll go over a little bit of it because it's a lot, and maybe I'll finish it up on another stream. But I want you to see how she basically reacted to all this, right? Zero, all he did was post the video. He posted a joint statement and is like, and his hashtag. That's it. But this is what she decided to post. A tweet longer. Like
Cringe.
if you weren't already in enough trouble, right? Because of shit like this, right? So, but here she goes. After years of torment and silence, I am finally free. I've written fair warning here for those of you here in the chat. It's very self-aggrandizing. Listen to this. I've written and rewritten this so many times. Recently, I've come out with a statement formally stating that I've settled the lawsuit. For those of you who may not know about this may come as a shock. The circumstances surrounding the suit have followed me for years and have deeply affected my personal and public life. How the fuck? The suit wasn't even a year old. This was wrapped up before a year even passed. She's already lying at the very beginning of this. Okay.
After years of torment, I'm finally free.
It hasn't even been a full year. Now, maybe she's referring in regards to what, the background behind it, but this is poorly worded, right? This is really poorly worded, the way she worded it here for this. Because this is probably the fastest wrap up to a lawsuit I've ever seen. It hasn't even been a full year. Because Zero filed back in November of last year. So this like ended in record time, in a matter of months. So
Yeah.
So it says, okay, I've deeply affected my personal and public life, but I am relieved to move on. I have many thoughts, many feelings, and many traumas regarding the matter, but I'm not here to rehash all that. Really? Really? Then why the fuck did you write a tweet longer that's like, what? How many paragraphs is this? Like 5 or 6 paragraphs long? No, more than that. It's like, what, 8 paragraphs?
This is literally the thing that got you sued to begin with.
Exactly. This is my closing statement on the matter. It is not meant to disparage any parties, but rather to give myself and all my supporters throughout this closure. I'm typing this all prematurely before I post. Weeks will have gone by the time this is live and now. I wonder if my feelings will have changed. I've lived many lives. Bro, what the fuck is she? The Highlander?
I've lived many lives.
I'm Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. What the fuck? Been through a lot, been through unthinkable things. Most of my story is relatively public. I've had the spotlights various times, of which you can comb through the archives. From when I first came into the spotlight up till now, I've been on this journey, a journey of discovering what. You know what? Hold on. I need to do this right. Can you guys hear this?
Yes.
Okay. I think now we could read it. All right. Where am I? Where was I? Okay. Go through. Okay. When I first came into the spotlight up till now, I've been on this journey, a journey of discovering what it is I really want and who I truly want to be. This recent chapter is just one of many. Even though every part is rife with complexity, in hindsight, everything I've done was to give myself a home, to give the girl who felt betrayed by the public a home, to give the girl who ran away and lived with her abuser a home, to give the child. Obviously, look, I'm not laughing at the fact that she suffered any kind of abuse. That's not funny. It's just to give the child who felt so unloved that she had to run away a home. I'm laughing at the fact that this is really melodramatic.
This is Jisu.
I could spend hours talking about my past, but we all carry our own wounds. Maybe I'll save them all for a book or something. I'll touch on some of the more traumatizing things I've never gotten to share. Now, mind you, right? I don't want to spend hours talking about my past, but you know what? Let's talk about my past. Firstly, it has been extremely hard remaining silent in the face of enormous amounts of hate. I took the high road. Really? I would keep my head down and grind it all away. I would post art and carry on like nothing was wrong despite going numb. I remember many nights sobbing, like the time the editor-in-chief of Beautiful Bizarre magazine called me at 3 a.m. in an emergency as haters bombarded her, attempting to take my first prize in their contest away. There's also been many times where I was terrified to leave my house due to multiple death threats and very graphic emails, which of course the police won't do anything about until I'm already harmed. Okay? And times where I felt so isolated just because I had to deal with all this on my own since my family couldn't help me. Of course, I didn't share any of this, but this has been the tune of my life for the past few years. Just bad things happening constantly. Secondly, it's been traumatizing not only seeing, but experiencing how unfair the world is. This is
Can we get much higher? So high,
Okay.
so high.
This is just okay. Secondly, it's been traumatizing not only seeing but experiencing how unfair the world is. I think we are finally seeing how broken everything truly is. From who we look to for authority, for how we carry out justice. Everything is broken. As a woman, going through the justice system has been especially difficult. I was first exposed to this when I first seek justice for my first incredibly abusive situation from an older man that had evidence upon evidence of blatant abuse, yet nothing happened. Sadly, the experience left me scarred, and I had little hope for myself and other women moving forward, facing my own situations while continuing to see the system fail. Even worldwide superstars like Britney, oh my God, Britney Spears,
so
Kesha,
bad.
and Lady Gaga left me feeling destitute as well. What the fuck? Okay. If these women couldn't even get justice, how would there be any hope for me? As a result, I became incredibly anxious and depressed. Look, this is such bullshit, right? Because as soon as she came forward with a lot of this shit, how many people were on her fucking site? How many fucking didn't Kotaku and Polygon cover this shit too?
Yeah.
If I
They
remember
did.
correctly. Says she got a lot of traction on this whole shit. Fortunately, we have settled, and I'm happy to move on. But if any of you knew how hard it truly is to receive justice, many of you wouldn't even try. Ignorance always boasts, follow the law without knowing how broken the law truly is. Thirdly, and probably the hardest challenge of all, has been facing my true feelings. Being constantly reminded of my traumas as I dealt with this suit, amongst many other things, was a force I simply could not ignore. It's been an incredibly difficult, turbulent, and emotional healing process. The collective traumas forced me to zoom out and see what was harming me, but more importantly, what was really driving me. It made me realize that the root of most of my actions, and probably for most people, is the uneasy feeling of not having a true safe space, a real home. This is
so
Oh,
freaking
man.
cringe.
this is a
It's a
declaration.
twitlonger.
Yeah, it's definitely a declaration,
That's
right?
what it is.
Okay. I've never had a home. I've never had a real supportive, unconditional environment that wasn't reliant on my own success. I've been in therapy for years, but wounds from my childhood stay stinging. I never felt I could rest, and so I always stayed running away from the uncertainty, from feeling the pain, whether it was through drugs, sex work, or just forgetting about it. I've done it all. You probably have too. We're all just trying to forget something. Over the years, I had forgotten how to cry. Oh my God.
Boo-hoo. Let me play the song on the world's tiniest violin. Sorry ass.
I've forgotten how to let my walls down and let others in. I did everything else I possibly could to cope. I mean, essentially, isn't that what this whole twitlonger is? Right? I've learned the hard way that even if you forget, your body does not, and eventually it will all come out. One of the most important lessons I've learned is letting go of all the anger, the sadness, the pain, letting go of all the hurt and frustration at the world for doing you so wrong. This is such self-pitying bullshit, man. Letting go of all the confusion for things that aren't even your fault. Letting go of all the mistakes, the lost opportunities, the lost money, the lost potential, the lost loves. I've lived a long time allowing things out of my control direct me. After years of living this way, I realized that holding on to this pain will only lead to more. After years of working on myself, I've slowly worked my way up to crying.
Wait, worked my way up to crying?
Yes, she really said that. Yes.
Bro.
I've slowly worked up to opening up and relying on others. That doesn't mean I stopped abusing things like substances. Growth is hardly linear. Sometimes I'd wonder if all those things I drunkenly cried to my friends or wait, what the fuck? I thought she couldn't cry. What? To my friends or cried myself to sleep because the Xanax and edibles were actually real, or if I was just high. I'm still learning that it is to accept love, or what it is to accept love, and to learn that I don't always have to earn it. I'm still learning that even without all my talent, achievements, or yo, you gotta love this, right? You gotta love how freaking narcissistic
Bro,
and egotistical this is.
I feel like doing a bit where I just take each paragraph, I read it all out, but then just layer each paragraph on top of each other. So it's just each paragraph
do that.
read at once.
Don't you
Just
love how
speedrunning
she's
the
still
whole
like, she's bearing her soul while still patting her back on how great she is.
You know the
Or
dude
anything.
that does a meme where he
Even without
expands his
my God.
mind. You know the meme where the dude expands his mind, like he goes, like
Yeah.
dude, you need to put that in, like do the voiceover thing with the overlap, and then put that in.
Yeah, that would
That would be hilarious. Oh my god! You know, she's her and Amber Heard have so much in common, and not
she's
for the
so
better.
melodramatic, man. Okay, or anything. I am enough, and I'm still learning that my happiness is really all that I and anyone ever wanted for me. I want to take a moment to thank everyone in my life who has supported me, even my day ones to now. I really mean it when I say thank you. Tons of people have tried to tear me down, but tons of people have chosen to lift me up. Even if you are new to my life, in those moments where I was struggling and feeling lost, your kindness meant everything. Despite my tone after working on myself, and of course, simply after some time, I feel a lot more confident in life and happier. So as I'm typing this in my car, parked, sober, and crying, I really hope this. Oh my god, she's so fucking melodramatic. I really hope this is the last iteration of this. And LOL, what the fuck? What? I really hope this is my last iteration of this. LOL. What?
This is art.
It's in this tender moment.
She should put this on one of her t-shirts. This is
bro, Fran, you gotta do something with this, bro.
This is art.
Oh my god.
Oh,
in
that
this
was
tender
beautiful.
moment, I realized that all those times I cried, all those times I felt so overwhelmed and suffocated by all these emotions I'm feeling, all those times I decided to feel my emotions instead of stuff them in, all those times I decided to be unsafe and be who I really am. It was all hearing, and in finally acknowledging my feelings, validating them, and giving myself the space to cry and heal, I'm
Giving
finally
myself
able to
to
move on and let
Christ.
go.
She's
Yeah.
she's learning human emotion slowly. She learned how to cry.
Yeah.
What's next?
So what she just admitted to being a robot this entire time.
Yeah.
So
An unfeeling, narcissistic Terminator.
yo, this is crazy, man. And let go and finally be free. P.S. This actually has been edited to reflect more recent thoughts, but this time I am now on the verge of tears at the cafe, stone cold sober. I've had many rough nights, but last night was especially rough. Wanted to give thanks to Ruthie, the hostess at Mills, the kind stranger at Phil's Coffee who wished me a nice day after we worked and jammed out to some tunes. That night, the stress of everything manifested into some incredibly awful physical symptoms, and I found myself helpless away from home. Your kindness to someone who offered you nothing meant everything. Oh my God. This is...
Put this in a museum.
Yeah, this needs to be saved for sure. Wow.
This needs to become a copy pasta.
Look, whatever she's been through, yeah, it does. Whatever she's been through, look, I'm not laughing at whatever actual like bad experiences or trauma she experienced. All right.
Yeah.
Whatever she went through, that sucks. I can sympathize with that. I can, you know what I mean? I can understand that. I can feel compassion for that. But come on, man. This is so melodramatic.
She was in a coffee store. She was in a coffee store sipping all that cap.
Yeah,
my guy said hello to me, and I broke into tears, which is a move that I learned with TM84.
Yeah.
To me, this really just
sweet kiss.
Once I evolved at level 30, I learned how to cry.
Yeah.
Empathy.
See, look, the problem with a post like this after the fact, it just comes across as just her trying to get in the last word. I mean, to me, it's just something that's just it's cringy, it's narcissistic, obviously, and it's just it's all about like, let me again post something that will make people feel sorry for me in this instant. There, Jisu, it'll be okay. That seems to be all that it's about with her, or the way she comes across when she puts stuff out like this. Woe is me. Yo, look, you didn't get sued into the dirt. You're not going to have to pay any of ZeRo's legal fees from what it looks like. You got it pretty easy, I think. You know what I mean? All things
got a lot easier than most people.
Bro, I wish
because I would have took her for everything she had.
Yeah,
bro, I wish she had to pay attorney fees, so then Hugs' money would have had to go to ZeRo.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
but
I
that's what
would
I'm
have
saying.
took her for everything she had and more.
she really got off light. If in the grander scheme of things, if you look at the whole situation, she didn't even have to fucking apologize. She nearly ruined this guy's life, right? And she didn't even have to apologize for it. She doesn't even apologize in her little post statement there, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, by the way, my suffering once again. Let me tell you about my suffering once again. So I don't. She's lucky. That's what I'm saying. She lucked out big time because at the very least, if he wanted to, he could have been like, look, I don't want anything from you, but I want you to pay my lawyer's fees. And that probably would have set her back quite a bit. But he didn't even do that. His whole thing was just like, look, don't talk about me no more. Take down the shit that you posted about me. Keep my name out of your mouth, basically. And that's it. So she got off light. Anyways, I think that's where we'll end it. Again, Chosen, Fran, thank you guys for joining me tonight. Appreciate you guys. Be sure to check out their
sober
channels.
in my car and in alone.
Yeah.
Please help.
Yeah. I'm crying right now. LOL.
Yeah, man.
Ridiculous, man. Just one of the most ridiculous freaking post statements I've read. Jeremiah Hembry, Electrician, thank you. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the stream daddies. Devin, you are the stream mommy. Appreciate y'all. Don't know when I'll be streaming again, but I have a feeling it'll probably be sooner rather than later. So keep on the lookout for that. If you guys are following me on Twitter at Toy Bounty Hunter, that's where I usually post the updates. So be sure you're following me on there. Thank you guys so much once again for tuning into the stream. You all have a wonderful night.
Peace.